Hello, I'm back once more. I seem to keep on saying I'm back. Well, I had decided to take a break, a working break, and I went to South Africa for 2 weeks. I thought I did deserve to take that break. As I was leaving, going to our airport, as we were approaching the airport, I looked at the new airport. It had a lot of concrete, especially as you are driving from the roundabout at the airport. It had a lot of concrete and it has some greenery at the bottom. But there on top, I kept saying to myself, there's something missing. What can soften that concrete? Then I said to myself, oh, I think it would look really beautiful if we planted maybe palms, something to soften. So next time you're going to the airport, just take a look. Maybe you see it from my point of view. I'm not criticizing, but just putting forward an idea for airports corporation to do something about it. I think it's going to add value. Now I'm in South Africa, and courtesy of my friend Sheila, I hope you'll be able to watch this video. She took me around to nurseries in Pretoria and in Johannesburg. And as we were driving, I decided that we can probably, as Zambia, learn something from South Africa. South Africa are really using their, although they have a lot of exotic plants, but I think they try to use as much as possible their own indigenous plants. And you find all the streets, maybe not all the streets in South Africa, but where I was in Pretoria, you find that the council maintains greenery, the lawns, and where they can't plant a lawn, probably maybe because it's too labor intensive in terms of water, they plant indigenous plants en masse. They plant succulents as ground covers. They use their aloes, the tree aloes, you name it, they're everywhere, and it makes the place look very, very inviting. And I mean, compared to Zambia, the councils don't seem to do much. But we can't say it's too expensive. I don't think so. We have the council, we have the nurseries. They could be doing these things. They could be, beautifying our city. And by planting so many trees, plants, we would be cleaning the air. And from there, I went to the garden centers. I wanted to learn, I wanted to see what I can learn from there and what I can bring back home. So one of the things that I found helps is the garden centers have people that know a lot about what they're selling. And with this era of technology, you don't need to employ a lot of people, but you need to teach your workers how to talk to customers, to make sure that the loyalty, your loyal customers keep coming back. The displays, the adverts, the way they advertise their plants. They have a plant for the week, they have for the day, they just spoil you with so much information on whatever you want to buy, which I think, I know we'll get there, Zambians, it's just a matter of time. but there the information that hits you is so much that you want to try and buy something, even something that you think you may not be able to keep, but with so much information you can't go long. And the bigger nurseries, they actually send you all the information. If you request for it, they'll send you whatever you want to know. You can order your plants. I know that even here now we've got courier services, but there you can order your plants and they'll even tell you that you get it in a day or in a few hours. Yeah, so that's where we as Zambians, we should be headed to. Then going back again to the use of indigenous plants, I think South Africans are very, very proud of the indigenous plants that they have. And all indigenous plants will not need so much effort to be able to grow. Although we are in the subtropics, I think South Africa has advantages over Zambia in that it rains, it can rain anytime. And the weather patterns is very different from us. It gets very humid, which is very good for the plants, and then they get an occasional rain. So sometimes we find that when we buy plants, when we bring in plants from South Africa, like certain aloes, because they are not going to get that rain which they occasionally get, so you find that they start to have diseases, or their growth is stunted. So those are the things that we should bear in mind when we bring in exotic plants from somewhere else. But if we stick and promote our own indigenous plants, it will be much easier for everyone. I mean, could even be easier for us to make our environment greener, because we'll be using plants that are already adaptable, that will grow faster, and not bring in plants which have to adapt. Maybe they will take a year or so before they can start growing. I went to this nursery called Safari, and that is in Pretoria. This nursery is huge. I don't think we have probably, you could say, the twice of Sandy's creation, with a good number of staff wanting to help you. They sell everything from plants to pots to garden decor, you name it. And from this nursery I bought a fertilizer in a very small bottle called plant steroid, and I said, no, I must use this fertilizer on my plants. But unfortunately I applied on some plants and burnt them with this plant's steroids, but other plants seems to be okay with the steroid, but this one, I think it was too much, and I just burnt the leaves. Then I went to another nursery that specializes in bromeliads and orchids and air plants. The bromeliads they specialize in come from South America. The prices were very reasonable, but I could not buy what I wanted to buy because, well, you can only buy one or two things unless you are prepared. And my experience at that nursery is how you display your plants will make the customer notice that plant, even if it's not out of the ordinary, even if it's, I mean, a common plant can be displayed in such a manner that it becomes attractive, and a customer just walks in and notices that plant. Then I also went to a farm nursery in Pretoria itself. This plant specializes in just landscaping plants. That's the goodness with South Africa, is that a lot of nurseries, especially the ones in the outskirts, have decided to specialize in certain plants. They don't want to grow everything. So the ones in the outskirts, they may specialize in big trees, just indigenous trees. And then you go to another place where it just succulents or euphorbias or cacti. The ones which are closer to residential areas, those are the ones that try to have a bit of this and a bit of that. So that is something that we can also learn from them, that if you are nearer to residential, you try and see what sort of plants the people in your community, in that community, would prefer to buy. And when you have more space outside town, then you can go wild with, you can stock everything, the big trees, the palm trees, everything, because you've got so much space. And the other thing that I noticed, that most of the nurseries, with an exception of a few, they also had restaurants or facilities where one can sit down and buy a drink. After walking around, you sweat, you just want to cool down. And in addition, most nurseries, when the plants were selling, they tried to also stock the best fertilizers for the plants that they have in their nursery. I may not remember all the nurseries, but every shopping mall has a builder's warehouse, just like we have here, and they also sell plants. But of course, our plants in builder's warehouse come from South Africa. So we get more or less what builder's warehouse sells in South Africa, we also get it here. It was an eye-opener. I went around many of the nurseries, and one thing that I've noticed, that in Zambia we still have a shortage. We don't have enough nurseries making compost. We still depend on South Africa. We are bringing in things like compost, which we can do ourselves. I don't know what it is that we are lacking, that we can't do things like make compost, potting soil, enough for the whole country. And I've made it that that could be my project for next year and beyond, to see if I can try and start making potting soil. I'm already making my own compost. I don't buy, but I hope I can push myself to make enough, more than enough for myself, and sell what I don't need.